So you guys know the routine. Got to share this in a couple places first, and then we'll get started. Let me bring Morgan on. Here she goes. All right.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay. Oh,
Just so everyone's aware, I hate these headphones, but we've
I
decided
know
now
you
that's
do.
what we have to do for it to work. So
Yeah. You need to get some new headphones that you don't hate.
I just don't like wearing headphones in general. I do have a nice pair, but they're like big ones. Like I don't mind wearing these. I don't like
Yeah.
doing them when we're doing lives. That's what I meant to say.
Times.
Okay,
Okay,
hold
let
on
me
just a
share
second.
this on here. Sorry for the late start. We were at my parents' pool and then got home and I had to like kind of put myself together, and then my kid had a canker sore in his mouth, so I had to put some stuff on there and
It's all
then put
good.
some eye drops in his eyes, and I was like, "Oh my gosh.
You're
So
here.
excited for this one." Yes.
That's all that matters.
Okay. Okay, let me
All right, I'm gonna
share it
share it in the Awaken
here.
Vlogcast in the series and in the group.
Okay.
So we'll be covered there and
Okay.
wherever you want to share it.
Yeah, I'm trying to. My computer, I swear, it gets a little bit slower every day, and I'm like, just hang on. Just hang on. You're a good
Don't say that.
computer.
It's gonna crap out
Like,
if you
you're a
say
good
that.
computer. You're a good computer.
All right.
Okay.
Good on my end.
Okay. Hopefully our connection will be good on this one.
Fingers crossed. We'll
I'm
see.
like, we're really touching the line here. But that's why it's awesome. Like, I'm excited. Okay.
Oh, now I can hear you better.
Share.
Okay.
Is that better? Okay.
Like I could hear you, but it was like almost a faint voice. We got it now. We're
Oh,
good.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, hang on.
Well,
I'm almost done here.
okay. Let me know when you're done.
Trying to share it to my page, to Minimalish. Come on, come on. And then, okay, got that. Sorry, guys. Sometimes life's just cray cray.
Don't apologize.
Okay,
Just let it
and
happen.
then, did it share? Okay, cool. Now I got to click on it so I can open it in case I need to share any links. It's a wonder my husband puts up with me sometimes.
You're a perfect balance of each other.
We are. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if this keeps interrupting, but my mom keeps calling. Hopefully she'll quit doing that because she knows that I do this.
You're
She's
like,
calling
Mom. Tag her on Facebook real quick. Mom.
Well, it's a
Mom.
back-to-back thing, and I keep hitting deny, but I don't know if it's messing up the broadcast, so
It pauses it for like just a second and then it's
okay.
fine. So
Okay, sweet.
let's see. Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and get started since we have people on here and they're like, oh my God, stop talking and like get to the good
Just talk about
stuff.
aliens.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk about
Well, welcome
aliens.
everyone to episode 16 of the Awaken Vlogcast. Today we're talking about extraterrestrials because I wanted to be proper, but aliens, ETs, whatever you want to call them.
Fancy aliens, whatever.
Yeah. So that's what we're covering tonight. And a lot of people that are on and watching have been asking for this for a while. And when Morgan and I were talking about this, we decided that it's probably going to be more than just one episode. We're going to have several parts episodes because there's just so much on this.
So much. Like I was, just the little bit that I have, I was like studying up for 4 hours today. And it didn't seem like 4 hours though.
Yeah.
Like it really didn't. And it was me rewatching things I'd watched in the past, and I was taking notes on Evernote. So I actually have like a lot of notes today, and I'm not a note taker, but there's just so much. I can't even begin to remember a fraction of it. So
I mean, I got a little bit, but it's nothing on your notes. So that's why you're leading the charge today.
Oh, I'm leading the charge, guys. Okay. So if I disappear, it's because, I'm talking about aliens. So come find me, please. Come find me. Just come find me. Okay. Round up the troops. Okay. Well, do you want to start with your notes or start with something or, hey, Darcy. Oh, no.
It's all
good. Come on, internet.
Okay. So let's just say this about the internet. We are, like I said, I've been talking about a lot, Lionsgate portal. It's the day is tomorrow, so there's a lot of interference and energy coming in right now, so it totally makes sense. If you can't watch it live, you can always watch the replay. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
Kenny said, I'm so here for this topic. It's awesome.
Okay, good. And yeah, comment anytime you want to. I mean, this is interactive. We like to see your comments. If we're like mid-sentence or mid-thought and we don't immediately answer you, we're just finishing what we say, but we always go back to the comments. So do not worry.
That's what's cool about the Vlogcast. If you're new to tuning in on this, like Morgan and I conversate, but it's also an open dialogue conversation. So all of the people who are tuning in usually put comments and stuff like that, and it's interactive, open dialogue with everybody. It's open discussion. So feel free to comment if you have questions or comments, anything. We'll address them as we go.
Absolutely.
So you said you want me to do my list first, since it's shorter?
Yeah, sure. Let's go through. Well, let's start with you going through yours, and then we'll go with the flow like we always do. So.
Okay. Yeah. So on my list, this is what I have. So the government literally just admitted that they're taking your UFOs seriously. So we've known about this for a while, and everybody talks about, Area 51 and, that whole meme and the thing that's going around.
Storming Area 51, yeah.
And then all the memes that are coming out of that. So it's nothing new, but they're really just admitting that they are studying it and aware.
They are now
and they're taking it seriously, but we know it's been longer than that. It's all good.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a crazy concept because I'm going to turn 30 next month, so this applies to me. So as long as I've been alive. So 30 years ago, we hadn't discovered a single planet outside of our solar system. So besides the planets that we already knew of in our solar system, we didn't know of anything else that existed 30 years ago, as long as I've been alive. Now we know that there are more than 3,000 of them, and we know that nearly every star in the night sky has at least one planet in its orbit. And for those of you in the city, you're like, oh, that's not a lot. But for those of you in the country, you know how many stars are out there. That's a lot of planets, people.
That's a ton.
And then that's just if one is around each star. You know that some of them are going to have more than one, so that's pretty crazy to think about.
Oh, yeah.
And just in 30 years, how far we've come, like, to know that, we only had our planets in our solar system, and now we know that there's over 3,000 other planets and things we haven't even discovered yet. That's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
There's been tons of documented encounters, including new ones even up to today. So this isn't just, like, past things that are happening. This is, like, continuously happening over and over, and there's documentation of it. It's not people just talking about it. Like, there's actually
tons of documentation.
Proof. Yeah.
If you know where to look and how to translate in most cases.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then this is one of my favorites. So I would like to do an AWAKEN Vlogcast episode just on this, but I love Nikola Tesla. And
that would be a good one.
Yeah, I really like him. There's so much to learn. He was all about free energy and stuff like that, and that wasn't the plan for everybody else.
Free? We don't do that here.
We don't do that. I think we'd be further along, but
we'd be so advanced.
So in 1899, not 1999, 1899. Yeah. Nikola Tesla notices rhythmic sounds on a radio receiver and is convinced they're communications from Martians, because that's more so what they called them back then, Martians. We call them aliens now more so than extraterrestrials, but just another.
Well, they're like life on Mars, so they're Martians. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then at least 4 known alien species have been visiting Earth for thousands of years, and we have, like we talked about earlier, proof of these encounters. So, you can look as far back as like Mayans, Aztecs, Egyptians, all of them have records of these types of visitations.
I actually have some of that like in my notes. Not visitations, but well, I guess it's technically visitations. Anyway, sorry, I'm just excited.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology that there's no way they could have known back then, right? And a lot of the carvings and stuff, you can see UFOs or aliens or whatever carved into them. It's really cool. So I don't know if you can hear me because you're freezing up again.
Am I?
We totally called this, by the way.
You.
I hear you every other word you're saying, Morgan. I don't know if they can hear you, but that's what I'm catching.
Can hear me? Okay. Anyone watching? Can you hear me out there? Let's see. Oh my God.
Okay. Are we good? You're moving now. Talk. Say something.
I hope I wasn't frozen like or something weird. Is it good? Can you hear me?
No. It's like it's like not syncing up with your lips, but I can hear you and you're moving, so that's all that matters.
Okay. It'll probably
It's just really funny.
It'll probably
Darcy,
buffer.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it'll probably buffer. But if you can hear me and I'm moving, it should sync back up, hopefully. So damn it.
There we go. It's starting to. It's getting
Is it better? Is it,
You're
okay.
a bit choppy. Yeah. You're good now. Choppy. You're in sync. Okay, we're back. We're back, people.
All right. This may happen a lot, so apologies.
This is like the impact episode.
We do our best.
Don't apologize. It's not anything we can control. But we've just talked about before we were doing this that there was probably going to be interference because of what we're talking about. It's all good.
Because what we're talking about.
Whatever. We just keep it rolling. Okay.
Yep. We go.
So all that I have left on my notes also are the movies that have talked about it, right? There's been tons of movies. I just kind of put, a couple of the typical ones, and there's probably more that you know of that I'm not even listing on here, but these are movies talking about it. The Day the Earth Stood Still. Still, not steel.
Steel?
Steel, that was my hip coming out, I guess. A little Oklahoma for you. Men in Black, of course.
Oh, those are good
Star
movies.
Wars, duh. District 9, The Fifth Element, Signs, War of the Worlds, Avatar, which is one of my favorites.
Oh my god, I love Avatar.
Predator, E.T., which I loved when I was a kid. I would eat Reese's Pieces because of E.T.
Yeah.
Independence Day, Alien, of course.
Oh,
Prometheus,
classic.
And then my other personal favorite, Arrival. So
I just watched that like about 6 months ago because I looked at the description and I was like, ooh, that's like totally right up my alley. And it was good. It was
really good. So if you haven't seen any of those, at least check out Arrival. It's really good. So
it is really good.
That's all my notes. That's all I got.
Well, carrying on to that, so there's always, maybe not 100% of the time, but a lot of the time, there's always truth to movies. Of course, movies in Hollywood make it a lot more flashy. They add, there's truth always hidden in the movies. And if you're anything like me, I don't like, romantic comedies are good, but my kind of movies are like the sci-fi things where things are, it's not only about this planet, it's like out in space and just these just crazy ideas like Interstellar, with time travel, and
so good.
Those are my kind of movies, and I do believe there is some truth into all of those things. So since you're done with your notes, I'll get started.
I'm excited
with my notes.
I know you have a lot of good stuff. So
okay, so for this episode specifically, all the notes I have, funnily enough, I'm going to be talking a lot about Bible things, which if you know me, I am not a religious person. I definitely believe in Jesus and Buddha and all the ascended masters. And I've done some posts and people get all upset about it. So if you can't be open-minded with this sort of thing, like this isn't for you. This is open-minded. You don't have to agree 100%. These are things I just look at that I find interesting. They make a little bit of sense. I love to talk about them, which is what AWAKEN is. There's no right or wrong. It's just open for discussion. So that's like my disclaimer on all of this. So what I did, the fine print. So for this episode, I went back and I'm subscribed to Gaia, which is like spirituality Netflix type stuff, and because I remembered a few episodes on this wisdom teachings with David Wilcock, and this dude, he's been studying this stuff for like over 20 years, and so I watched about 2 or 3 episodes, just catching up on things. I have my notes here on Evernote, and so that's basically where most of this stuff is coming from, and I Google things here and there. So this is where I'm finding it. If you want links to that, let me know. We can send you any links. So,
and we usually put stuff, if you're not a part of the AWAKEN Vlogcast community group, join it, because we share a lot of the links and stuff in there from these episodes. So they're easier to find for people.
Yes. Oops. So, oh gosh, where do I even start? Okay. So just jump in. I'm like, shit, where do I even start? Okay. So what I have found really fascinating is that angels and extraterrestrials seem to be kind of the same thing, at least if we're looking at it from a biblical perspective. And this actually comes down to, like, the base of all of this is translating things in the Bible properly, because we all know, or maybe we don't all know. I didn't know forever. I had to learn. So the Roman government, the Roman Empire is they kind of put the Bible together. They kind of created created Christianity and like taken all these scrolls and all these stories, and was it like 300 years later they actually put the Bible together, 300 years after Jesus died. And the Roman Empire, you know, they wanted to conquer everything and be in charge and like control the people. So the best way to, let's see, they wanted to create a government that can use religion to control people. So the Roman government purposely mistranslated certain things to keep you ignorant. Now,
which I've said that a lot. There's a lot of mistranslation and stuff.
So many mistranslations. Or people, when they're reading something, they don't understand the original meaning, the original context. So a lot of things get out of context. I mean, the Bible's been probably, I forgot to go look it up, but translated into what, probably over 80 to 100 different languages. There's so many different versions, so many different religions.
And some things don't translate over. You have to remember that about certain words in certain languages. They don't have an equivalent in the other language. So they'll do the closest thing to it.
Exactly.
Like they do something totally different.
Exactly. So there is a lot with translation that I believe has been lost when it comes to the Bible. So a lot of the stuff has to do with Bible. So angels and extraterrestrials are, I believe, kind of the same thing, because the Bible seems to be the most extensive record of extraterrestrial contact to ever have been documented. Now, if that sounds kind of weird, you're like, what? Aliens in the Bible? I actually have like a Bible here, and I have like all my notes. I'm starting to make notes. I'm like, here's where like alien. So yeah, very fascinating. So the Bible is the most extensive record of extraterrestrial contact to ever have been documented. Really fascinating, because I don't think a lot of Christians would agree with that or know that, or which is fine, but I do. So let me get to my translations here. Okay, so the word heaven, because you know, when Christianity, there's heaven and there's hell. So we talk a lot about the kingdom of heaven and what heaven is, and you want to get to heaven, and angels come down from heaven, and God lives in heaven. Like
destination, heaven, to check in and punch your ticket when you die.
Exactly. Like you want to get to heaven. Like you want to get to heaven, right? Because that's paradise. So the word heaven shows up 700 times in the Bible. Wow. Give or take, probably a little over 700. So the Old Testament Hebrew, the word for heaven is shamayim. And if I don't pronounce it correctly,
no one's judging
please
you.
forgive me.
Just try. Yeah. It's all
so shamayim. In the New Testament, it's Greek, and it's oranos. So shamayim and oranos translate as sky, outer space, cosmos, or universe in any other book during that same time period.
Interesting.
The only book that shamayim and oranos, sky, outer space, cosmos, or universe. The Bible was the only one that seemed to translate that back to like God. Somehow along the way, it went away from universe and space to heaven, our paradise, whatever you think of heaven as. The cloud where God's sitting, chilling, you know, with his beard and all that. So that was super fascinating to me. And that makes sense, because that does go back to translation issues. And that's a big thing, because heaven, like I said before, everyone wants to get to heaven. Mm-hmm. And so most people, when you say heaven, they're not thinking space or universe. Over the course of my awakening, I've come to realize this, even before I realized that it was mistranslated and meant these things. So the word God, because we're going to focus on words here. So the word God, original Hebrew word is Elohim. It is a plural word, not singular. And it translates as mighty ones. It appears 2,750 times in the Old Testament. And the Hebrew writers use the word for both good and bad entities. So they didn't differentiate. So – what I take this to mean is God is not a singular being. God is a mighty one that lives in heaven from the sky. So we have these mighty ones coming down from the cosmos, from the universe. The word angel in the Old Testament, in Hebrew, it's malek. In the New Testament, in Greek, it's agalos. It translates as one sent. So where are angels sent from?
Yeah.
From heaven. What's heaven? If you go back to the translation, outer space, the cosmos, the universe. So we have, let's see, ones of the mighty ones, an extraterrestrial from space. Now, I know this is like a stretch for a lot of people, but from my perspective and everything that I'm kind of learning, it makes sense. So here we can get into, okay, the word Beelzebub, you know, another word for the devil, because of course in the Bible there's good and evil, there's God and the devil. So the word Beelzebub in the Old Testament was Baal-zebub, and the New Testament was Beelzebub. So there's was a Chaldean religion or race of people. Baal, B-A-L-L, means ruler or overlord. So think of like, this is evil, this is the devil. Zebub was translated meaning fast-flying insect that stings. So then we get into Beelzebub was the traditional lord of flies. And so if you think of, if he's fast flying, he has something that stings, like it's kind of indicating there's a sky god that has flight capabilities and could sting, which some people believe his stinging is some sort of weapon from like a UFO, some sort of energy weapon. I think it was like a lightning shock. And there's like, if you want to go back into history, we're talking about documentation. So there are pictures, there are sculptures of this.
Here it goes.
Ball.
Whatever you're talking about is good right now because it's getting choppy. Here it goes.
Okay, can you hear me though? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. Are you watching me?
I hear like every other word now.
Okay. Okay, so...
Your face kind of looks creepy, but it's okay.
Promise, I'm not an alien.
Oh, this is fun.
We'll stop.
Yeah, you
for a
are. We're
second.
all aliens. It's okay.
Are we good? Like, I need my crystals.
You're like, this is good.
This is good,
I told
isn't
you
it?
to put your grounding crystals by it.
Well, I got all my crystals over here. Like, I have all my crystals here, so I don't know.
All right, it's catching back up now. It's a little bit blurry, but I can hear you and you're in sync. So go for it. Share whatever you were just sharing because it was good.
Okay. So Beelzebub, translated means the Lord of Flies, which indicates that he was a sky god having flight capabilities that could sting with weapons. So you have like UFOs, someone coming from the cosmos, the sky, God, we'll go back to, God, the original word was Elohim, which translates as mighty ones. And that same word was used for both good and bad. They didn't have a different one for this is good. This is a good guy. This is a bad guy. So Baal was an ancient god he had the ability to shoot thunderbolts or sting people. He also had a Masonic apron, which that's a whole different subject. I just know there's the Masonic cult, which is weird, but if he's bad, it makes sense. So he was a bad humanoid, not from Earth. The minion of Baal was Moloch, and this is where we get into child sacrifice, sacrificing of like really evil, like dark, disgusting things. So if you look back in history around the times of the Bible and probably even before then, when people would sacrifice children to the gods, like Baal and Moloch were the bad guys that accepted these sacrifices. So the valley that this happened was called Gai Ben Hinnom, which is also known as Gehenna in the Bible. And So after they stopped all the child sacrifice, Gehenna became a garbage dump, which is interesting. And like I said, I'm not super studied on Bible stuff, but the term Gehenna is familiar to me, so that part was interesting. So when Jesus would say you'd go to Gehenna, I guess he did this in his Sermon on the Mount, but he meant it as a metaphor for burning off karma, the cycle of karma, not that you were like going to go to hell or like eternal damnation. So there's a lot of things here, because I believe Jesus like loved people, like he came here to love people and not like damn them. And
I agree.
Of course we get into like a lot of religious things where people want to translate things different ways, but Jesus didn't come here to be like, you're a piece of shit and you're going to go to hell. Like that's not what he was about. Okay. And then this was interesting. So we have good angels. I'm going to totally mess these names up. Sadrach, Meshach, and my kid tried to like run in. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they were the ones that King Nebuchadnezzar like burnt in a fiery furnace, because I guess he wanted them to prove that they were what they said they were. So it says, so they were some of the mighty ones, because they in Daniel 3, I guess verse 19 through 28, they walked out of the oven unscathed. And then it said, blessed be the mighty ones who sent their emissary, aka extraterrestrial angels. So that's, some people believe, proof of extraterrestrials, like as angels, or really awesome human beings in the Bible. So that was pretty interesting, because I'm sure they have all kinds of technology to protect them, or if they're energy beings, they can protect themselves from fire and heat, all these earthly things that we have. If we get to, let's see, Hebrews, I don't know how to say it. Hebrews 7 verse 3. So there's Melchizedek, who is described as an immortal being. No earth or human heredity. He's an implied ET of Elohim origin, the mighty ones. I wish I had marked more of those in there, but I was reading all this stuff in the Bible as I was going on, just to make sure that the internet wasn't saying something weird or mistranslated.
You always get a fact check.
Right. So I was looking in my Bible and I was like, oh my God, like it actually says that. So which one was that? Hebrews 7:3. Let me see if I can find it here. This is so weird. I'm like reading the Bible on a live.
Well, when you're talking about this stuff, it makes me think of, I think we talked about this maybe already before, me and you.
Yeah.
Not on here, but spirit signs, for those of you who don't know what that is, you can check it out on
I love that. I love
YouTube.
That show.
It's really good. If you're starting in your awakening journey and wanting to learn about this stuff, check out Spirit Science. There are so many episodes.
Yeah.
And they're continuously putting out new content. But what the stuff she's talking about right now, I don't remember what episode it is. You can go back and look at the playlist, but they're talking about these things that she's talking about. And then it's also talking about all of the other beings that were here, like that were in Lemuria and stuff like that. It's really good.
Lemuria, that'd be a good topic. And yeah, I should have marked these better, but I was doing all this so fast. I'm like, where is it? And like a lot of people are like, this is where you look exactly for these books in the Bible. And I'm like, I don't know like where to find this stuff, but I want to read this one because, a lot of, there's truth in the Bible, for those who know how to translate properly. So, with all the Christian beliefs that aren't of love, that don't necessarily align with me, I never got into studying the Bible. But now that I'm kind of finding like, oh, there's these things that talk about possible extraterrestrial life, I'm like, I'm all about that. So I don't even know. Is it not working again? Okay, well, I can't find that one. I'm going to waste my time. Anyways, but yeah, in the Bible,
my dog is
it was
really
Hebrews.
Thirsty if you're hearing that, so sorry.
Hebrews 7, I guess it's verse 3. It does say like he doesn't have a mother and a father. He's like eternal. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Like they put that in the Bible. So I'm like, well, maybe he's an ET. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. In Isaiah 19, verse 1, Behold, Yahweh is riding on a swift cloud. So, like, what the hell is a swift cloud? Like, what the hell is that? So, and this is one that David Wilcock got into on his Gaia episode. And he was explaining how back in the day, if you don't have a word for something, and like we had talked about earlier, you're going to describe it the best that you can.
With what you have.
So, with what you have. So, the things up in the sky, like those are clouds, right? So someone's like riding in, like on a swift cloud. Like what? So what could that be? Like
Maybe
he's not actually
levitating.
riding on a cloud. Could be levitating.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know how this guy got here.
But it's something not normal. Some dude, something
UFO?
Came in on a swift cloud, UFO.
We don't know what it is. It's a cloud. It's a UFO. We don't know. It's a UFO.
So in Isaiah 66 verse 15, there's another one that says, behold, Yahweh will come in fiery chariots like the whirlwind. So a fiery chariot, like from the sky. I'm like, that just
like an asteroid
makes sense. It has to be, I don't know. I mean, it's not of this earth. So it's from the cosmos. It's from space, from the sky. And then it says, let's see. This is Psalms 68 verse 17. I'm probably saying all of that wrong. The chariots of the mighty ones are myriads, thousands upon thousands. Yahweh is among them. This was actually the Battle of Armageddon that started 1,000 years before Jesus. So essentially there was an extraterrestrial battle being fought for control of Earth. The good guys won that time. And then they kind of backed off so that we could become modern and evolved to kind of where we're at now. So we've kind of lost track of them. But this was 1,000 years before Jesus. And I know that they have all like the drawings and I'm sure sculptures of all these things. People that are archaeologists, they find all this proof that it did exist. There's documentation.
Yeah, with the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians. I mean, if we want to talk about aliens and Egyptians link, like the elongated skulls and things like that they have found with the Egyptian rulers, I think is interesting.
And there are actually skulls like that are elongated. Yes. And some people say that, well, people would they would do head binding of babies, you know, where they would, but then, and I know that happens sometimes, but an argument made for that is, why would they do that in the first place unless they had somebody that they wanted their kid to look like?
Yeah.
You know, you're not just like randomly like, I want to elongate my kid's skull. You're going to do it for a purpose. So yeah, they actually have these elongated skulls. It is a real thing. You see it a lot, you know, in the Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Yes.
You know, all the skulls, all the hats. It looks like hats, but they're wearing the hats to hide their elongated skull.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, I mean,
well, and then if you want to talk about the pyramids, right? How those things were constructed, what those things really were.
People like pulling big ass blocks of stone.
Yeah, perfectly cut with precision.
Right.
It weighed several tons.
I remember thinking that as a kid. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. Like that, it didn't make sense.
Well, and I think this is more as like an Egyptian episode when we do one, but they're also, you know, is like what the pyramids were actually for. They weren't just these tombs to put people in and whatever when they died. They were actually these machines that worked, and they had these different things and energies that flowed through them. So
it was like an energy generator. Oh yeah, that'd be a good episode. So some people, there's tons of proof. If you look at different cultures, there's the Sumerian and Babylonian gods who, when you look at their carvings or their drawings, they're very tall, 12 to 14 feet with wings. They were carved into metallic plates. And if let's say you're the sculptor, you know, or you're the artist, like you want to kind of do true to life. You don't want to exaggerate a ton. And then when you see like everything else kind of matching up the same, these giants, you're like, okay, well, here's some documentation. Yes, there aren't giants that exist in our world, but that doesn't mean that they didn't. These could be versions of gods, angels, extraterrestrials in the past. Then we again talked about the Egyptians. Larger cranium could mean bigger brain. They had more brain processing power, maybe smarter.
Which I think is interesting because of the shape of the skulls that we're talking about. Like, there's a lot of scientists that believe that, like, octopi, I don't know what you would,
Octopi, I think.
I think it's octopi. It just sounds weird.
Yeah.
Octopi, yeah. That they're actually aliens. And if you think about the shape of their head, it's very interesting to think about. It's very similar. And then when you're talking about the giants, even in Egyptian times, there were giants carved out of the sides of these buildings and things like that. So I think that's very interesting.
I mean, it doesn't mean that they weren't real or they were exaggerating. Let's see. So there's some. So we look at Hindu. There's Vishnu. They have blue skin.
Yes.
There's different variations. So they're humanoid forms. Yes. So they're like humanoid forms. You know, a head, arms, body, legs, feet.
Some of them
humanoid.
have multiple arms too, not just two.
Yeah, and so it's interesting how there's different variations on this humanoid form, but they're obviously quite different from what a normal human would look like. So again, Vishnu with the blue skin. The Mayan god Quetzalcoatl had white skin when the Mayans didn't have white skin. So he was, of course we have white skin, but back then they didn't. So there's the Hopi Kachina, the Japanese Dogu, the Australian Aboriginal Wangina, and then we have all the. Oh, this one was interesting. Again, this is like so much information. We could probably spend like a whole episode talking about one thing. So we have the Greek gods, Greek Roman gods. Mm-hmm. So it's hypothesized that Mount Olympus was a spacecraft, that it could rise and fall. So these gods lived on their spacecraft called Mount Olympus. And then, of course, you know how there's the demigod theory where gods and goddesses would come down to Earth and they would mate with humans, and then you get the demigods, the half man. And I actually found something,
which is like Hercules, right? That's what Hercules.
Yeah, like Hercules, where they're still mortal, but they're like they have like superpowers. And I found something. Okay, yeah, this was in the Bible here. This is Genesis chapter 6. And it says, there were giants in the earth in those days. Just talked about giants. And also after that, when the sons of God, and of course we're translating God as the mighty ones, because God shows up a lot here. So the sons of the mighty ones came unto the daughters of men, humans, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men. So mighty men, which were of old, ancient, men of renown. So I kind of read that. I don't know if that's for sure, but I'm like, does that mean demigods?
That sounds like
I was reading it like in the Bible. I'm like, there were giants in the earth in those days. The sons of the mighty ones came into the daughters of men. They bore children, became mighty ones of men, which were of ancient men renowned. And I was like, that's weird that I just read that in the Bible. But I'm like finding all these little tidbits here. And I'm like, well, shit, this is really fascinating.
Another cool one about like giant carvings and stuff. For those of you who know about Easter Island, the giant heads. Just recently, within the past couple of years, they've actually dug below.
Yeah, bodies.
So their entire bodies that are buried in the earth. And these things are massive.
They're huge.
But for so long, we thought they were just these giant heads until someone decided, hey, let's dig a little deeper. And then it ended up unearthing.
What took so long? When you'd be like, let's dig a little more. Like, where does this end? Yeah.
That's what I would have thought, but,
Yeah.
So
then you're like, well, somebody had to know, because aren't archaeologists, like, their job is to, like, uncover things. So that makes me wonder. I'm like, were they told that it's, leave it there? Like, don't dig any more.
Yeah.
Just leave it at the heads.
Well, and it's like the Sphinx, right? When the Sphinx was originally first found, wasn't it just like the head, not even the whole head, sticking up out of all of the desert and the sand?
Yeah, they had to dig up the body, too. But I've also heard that they changed, like, the head that's on it now is not the original head that it was. Because it's a lot smaller in relation to the size of the body. And there were like a bunch of other things that archaeologists who are studied in this stuff now, but it is theorized that that's not the original head of the Sphinx.
I think I heard something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's so much we don't know. Oh my gosh.
Which that's a whole nother thing in the Egyptian side, right? Is like the half man, half animals that are documented well into most of the Egyptian culture. It's very interesting.
There's also theories that extraterrestrials or angels or the mighty ones or gods or whatever you want to call them, that they have genetically manipulated life on Earth, that they are responsible for creating all these variations. So, I just watched a thing where, they say we're related to apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, monkeys.
Yeah. But where's the missing link is what they always talk about.
Right. So where's the missing link? And so it's theorized that they did some like crazy ass genetic manipulation.
They
spliced some DNA.
Which
like,
that's
I guess with their
movie.
DNA, their humanoid. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's like weird stuff. So I don't know if it was their DNA or DNA of like some other humanoid alien, but they spliced DNA with that of the apes, and that's how you got the first humans. And of course, this is all argued. Like people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, here's the thing. Even with that, though, Morgan, as far as we want science back behind it. So I don't remember what it's called. It's like RH something blood type. It's a very rare blood type.
Oh, the RH negative, or it's the RH like factor.
Yeah, they're like if you have that, like you have DNA.
Yeah.
Of an alien. Basically, you're not from this world because it's so rare to even have that. And that's science. Really, it's not just like, oh, it might be an alien. They're like, no, you're definitely not from here.
Right. It's like there's something about that in your DNA that's not natural. Oh my gosh. And then, we get into other things. So there's I haven't looked into this a ton, but the Satya Yuga, the Golden Age. Just something prophesized by Islam, the Bible, Hindu, Buddhist, and it has to do with there's planets changing. It's not just people say we're going through global warming and all this stuff, and of course, yes, there are things that we're doing to our environment that are allegedly are causing our planet to shift certain things, but there are other things that cannot be explained by that. It's like deep within the Earth. So not only is Earth changing, but the other planets are changing. Like Venus, I think, was getting brighter, and was it Jupiter had like this crazy ass big storm. And so our planet, our solar system, all of the planets are going through changes having to do with this prophesized golden age.
Yeah. We're in the age of Aquarius, right?
Yes. We just entered that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Age of Aquarius.
So
and I don't know a lot about astronomy, but...
Well, that's when everything's shifting. When we talk about, when we're talking about the Lionsgate portal and those things, the energy coming through, we are, not only as individuals and collectively, but as a planet, we're changing. And when these disasters and things like that happen, it's not always necessarily just global warming, not warning.
Right.
But a lot of that does you have to think about, if the Earth is ascending and raising its vibration, it also has to purge. And sometimes that's the way it's doing it. It's the Earth. It's going to have natural disasters.
Right. Because the Earth is alive.
Yeah. So I'm not saying not all of it is that way, but some of that stuff is from it purging itself.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like DNA stuff happening. And I find it fascinating that we only know about, was it 3% of our DNA, our genetic code? And the other 97% they call junk DNA. They call it junk. And I'm like, there's no way that the life force of life, like 97% of it is junk. It's just, there's so much of it to look at. And so I'm sure there's things that are hidden. You hear about people there's epigenetics, right? Which I'm, again, not super studied on, but I know of it. There's so many things to be aware of. It's impossible to know everything.
Turning things on and certain things off.
Turning things on and off. And
based off your mindset. Like the thoughts you have in your mind.
Because you can activate sleeping parts of your DNA to awaken new powers or abilities or
diseases even.
Diseases, yeah.
It's not always for the good, depending on what your mindset
is.
There's
so much hidden in that DNA that it's a little bit mind-boggling. Oh my gosh, what else? So we've got, apparently there are like levels of angels. There's like seraphim, just fiery spirits, cherubims, all-knowing, thrones, many-eyed ones. Then there's dominions, like virtues, powers, principalities. It's like a hierarchy of angels, extraterrestrials.
I was going to say, I believe that has to do with like dimensions, right? Like the higher dimension they are, the higher vibration, maybe that's what level of alien or angel, whatever you think they are.
Oh, that's a good theory. That would make sense. Because I think reading more on that, like some of them were more energy beings and some were more physical beings. So that makes sense.
So it would make sense towards the lower of the funnel, if you will. They're going to be more physical because of the 3D, right? And then the higher, the more spiritual, whatever the higher vibration. Yeah. That's when they become less physical.
Less physical. My opinion. Yeah. So for instance, the lowest one on this is called principalities, and those are the guardian angels of cities, nations, and rulers. So I guess there's like almost physical guardian angels that are protecting certain people or places on planet Earth. I've caught mine
in pictures before.
Is it like the little orb thing that shows up?
Did I show you? Like, yeah, where it looks like it's almost like the shape of a face, and I've showed you before, and it always moves.
Have you shown me that?
I'll have to show you again, but I've showed you before.
Show me again.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's like when I've tried to debunk it, right? I did everything like, is it a camera glare? Like all these things, like different days, different times.
Trying to like make it logical. Yeah,
it's crazy. But it looks like an alien face too, the shape that it is. I'll show you again.
I need to see. Yeah, I need to see that again. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
And even when I do my Reiki and things like that, right? I'm always calling in my guardian angel to assist during the Reiki sessions. Or I'll call in angels, whatever. But I always call in my guardian angel.
Okay. And that's probably a good topic we could talk about now, is like guardian angels. Because I think that's a term people are more comfortable with. Because people believe that they have guardian angels. You know, whether it's in the form of loved ones, or
their higher self,
or gods, their higher self, so that there are spiritual energies that keep an eye out for them. And some people are, I think, really aware of them. You got yours in a picture. I know a lot of people, they'll take pictures. They'll see the orbs. There'll be orbs just hiding, or they'll catch it on camera. There's like a little orb like moving through, and it's not like a bug, it's not like a trick of the light.
Yeah, and some people can connect too when they're doing meditation. It'll come to them in meditation.
Yeah. Man, meditation's good. So does anyone watch? I know I've been babbling a lot, and
there's a lot of good stuff.
It's good. There's we'll so much stuff.
And check all the comments because there's been
we can go back and check. But does anyone, or do you believe in guardian angels? Do you have one? Have you caught those little orbs in pictures, or caught maybe more than an orb in pictures? Because we like to know all of your experiences. And while we're writing, I'll kind of scroll back through and make sure we didn't miss any questions. Okay. Because I was just like,
I'm gonna grab my water real quick because I just drank the rest of this and I'm like so thirsty. So 1 second.
Okay, go get a drink. Okay. Let's see. Glad so many people were tuning in. Sorry about all the choppiness and connection issues. Let's see. Ken, you have your so Okie accent, LOL. Yeah, we have Okie accents.
Sure do, y'all.
Yeah, and Darcy says, yes, they desensitize the masses. Oh, that's when I was talking about like the Roman government putting the Bible together, purposely mistranslating things to keep us ignorant because they want to keep us ignorant. So you can put things in there that are like really scary and that create fear, and fear is one of the best ways to control people. Yep, fear and confusion. And then Jennifer says movies are easier to accept when we were talking about they like hide truth in the movies because you're like, oh, it's just a movie. Like it's not necessarily scary when it's a movie. I think
it does help desensitize you to a degree so that if something was to happen, then you wouldn't be as like caught off guard by it. Because honestly, if you want to go back to what they were controlling about, the study of UFOs and things like that, if you look back into the studying of it, they were talking about they didn't want to cause mass hysteria. That's why it was caught or kept under wraps, because they thought people basically couldn't handle it, would freak out.
And I do think, oh gosh, like in the past, there was like so many superstitious people just with everything going on. So I get how we have to, like if we were to go full disclosure, look, I'm ready for that shit. I'm like ready. Like, tell me it all, because I already know it's there.
But some people would not.
But it could cause mass hysteria. And I do think, especially with the religious community, which there's a lot of those people, because if you're to be like, hey, aliens are real and they've like been visiting us for a long time and they like play with our DNA, it would kind of like fuck you up a little bit. You'd be like, what? Whoa, my whole reality just like imploded. What am I now? So I get doing that. But again, they created this problem. Like, just, it's time to start like leaking it a little bit at a time. And I think we're awakening now, because we're publicly talking about this stuff now. Yes. We're like, this isn't crazy.
I mean, we're talking about it mainstream right now.
Right. And a lot of people still are like, oh, you're insane. Like, blah, blah, blah. This means you believe in Satan. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, no, I'm not.
It just sounds funny because you said believe in Satan, then you said Jesus Christ.
Okay. I'm sorry. I swear a lot. I say Jesus Christ a lot, so please forgive me, Jesus.
It was just funny in the context in which you used it.
Oh, okay. I know. God, nobody like screenshot my. Don't take my sayings out of context.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, I know. These people watching, they don't care. You're all cool. Kenya says, links, please. Yes, I'll go back and I'll share all the links of all these things. And I'll even tag you in case you had to get off or something. Darcy says, wow, I haven't put that together yet, but I believe how much the Bible has been retranslated hundreds of times. Oh my gosh.
Yep, we've lost
Morgan,
a lot of stuff.
Mind blown. Yeah, and I will tell you honestly, that's one of the things I had a really hard time with Jeremy, my husband, about, because I would question these things. I'm like, there's no way every single word of the Bible can be true, because it's been translated to all these different things. It's been left out. When you get humans involved, like, they're gonna fuck it up somehow to make it fit their agenda. That's why we're in this mess as a planet, because there's an agenda. You know, people want to be in control. They want power and they want money, and they're willing to sacrifice people, and they don't, there's a lack of love. It's not about love. It's a lack of love. It's a want for power. And so until God handwrites me a Bible and like signs it, and like, no way every word is true. And we got into a lot of arguments about that, because he was just so programmed. He grew up very like religious, and he was just like, nope, does not compute. And this is like my best friend, my husband. He's like, you're crazy, does not compute. Like, you can't say that because you're going to go to hell. And I'm like, no.
I remember these conversations.
No. Yeah. Yeah. And
tell me about them.
It's, of course, he doesn't think that now. We have like really open-minded conversations. It's amazing. But when you say things like that and people really think about it, you're like, oh my God, you're right. It has been translated. Things get lost in translation. You know how we play in kindergarten, you play the telephone game?
Yep.
Where you like have a line of like 15 or 20 kids, and you're like, I like to eat cupcakes. And you like whisper it down the line, and it ends up like, my feet smell bad. Like, it's not even the same. But imagine that on a wider scale with a super popular book. I mean, it just...
But you're told you have to follow these exact guidelines or you're going to hell. Yes.
Right. And you're like, no. Like, that doesn't make sense logically. Like, if you think about it logically, like, it does not make sense. And the fact that the Bible was put together 300 years after Jesus left. And a lot of...
Yeah. So it's not like you can fact check it, like, hey, bro, you messed this up.
And there were documents and scrolls, but then some things were just stories that had been passed on by word of mouth over the years. I mean, something has to change. Like, it logically does not make sense. So anyways, when you start thinking about the actual facts, doesn't mean that the Bible, doesn't have truth. Because I was just in here marking things down. I'm like, oh my God, like, that makes sense. Doesn't mean that there's not truth. You just have to know how to translate it. And you have to understand where it came from and what the original purpose of the Bible was. You know, Jesus didn't write the Bible. He never read the Bible because it didn't exist. I like to bring that up a lot. And then it pisses people off and they're like, Morgan.
It's because you make them question their beliefs. And that's the thing we talk about here all the time. Don't even take what Morgan and I are saying 100%. Like, always question what you're hearing.
Go look.
Do your own research. Ask yourself questions. Don't just ever blindly take anything that anyone's saying to do. Do your research.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, when you confront some religious people about those things, that's where it can trigger them, because they don't know what they don't know. They've just blindly accepted. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them have just accepted it because that's what they were told to do, to be a good little boy or a good little girl.
Yeah. And that you can't question, because
that's blasphemy.
This priest or this person, they're the highest authority to God. And it's like, no, like, you have a direct connection to God or the mighty ones or whoever.
I believe we are God. That's
the universe.
We're all
I think that too. Like,
source.
And the, not quoting it correctly, but like, we were created in his image. Like, what does that mean? You know? So anyways, so yeah, definitely you don't have to agree 100% with us, but we hope that this sparks things in you. Like, oh shit, I didn't think about it that way. And then you start
awaken your thoughts.
Awaken your thoughts. And then so you start looking into it, and you just start expanding your world, because so many people are put in a box, especially when it comes to religion. Like, here's a box. This is the definition. You don't question it, because you'll go to hell, because you're a sinner, and all that bull crap. And it's like, like, get outside the box. Like, there's so much outside of the box, you have no idea. And then when you're finally outside of the box and you kind of look back down at the box, you're like, oh my, I cannot believe I was trapped like that. And it's not fun to feel trapped. And I think a lot of people subconsciously feel trapped with these things. They wear masks, and they're afraid to talk about these things in public.
They'll live a totally different life the rest of the week, and then on Sunday they're good little students and go to church, but they live totally different lives other than that.
Exactly. And like, that's not how this is supposed to be. Like, you're just supposed to be you and talk about things and find your tribe and find your community and
speak your truth. Always
speak your truth. It's so freeing. Got a whole tangent there.
That happens in religion, right?
It does.
Well, like when you were talking about just religion in general, people tend to judge more too, right? And to me, that's kind of like a slap in the face to God or Jesus or whatever you believe in, because then you're saying he messed up. And I don't believe that he, she, they made any mistakes whatsoever. So I find it very interesting that as humans, people are so quick to judge others, when it's like, who are you to judge? You have no idea. Like,
exactly.
And I'm talking about, I'm not even just, like, for myself, right, being gay. I've had people come up to me. I've told this story before about the old lady coming up to me with her hand out, and I thought she wanted to shake my hand. So I put my hand out. She put a pamphlet in my hand that said I was going to hell, because I was like 17 at the time, and I was walking through Walmart holding my girlfriend's hand. That was it.
Oh my God! Like,
and it's just like, I'm one of the nicest people you ever meet, you know. So you're so quick to judge, you don't even get to know me.
And that's just hardcore programming.
Yeah.
That's just
and it's just like, I feel sorry for those people, because they don't even question it. They don't even think why they feel that certain way about things.
Robots, zombies.
And when I say that he, she, they, whoever the creator is, did not make mistakes, I'm not even just talking about people. I'm talking about, you know, people that do bad things. I'm talking about murderers, rapists, all these things. Like, the reason they did those things is because they went through certain experiences or whatever in their life to shape them into that. They were not created that specific way. And even if they were, I mean, who are we to judge them? Not saying it's right. I'm not condoning it by any means, so don't take that out of context.
Obviously, don't take it out of context.
But I'm just saying, I just think, I've talked about it before, I don't think there is hate or love necessarily. I think there is only love, or it's like a spectrum. There's love, and then there's lack of love. And I think even those people that create these atrocious crimes, right, they're just further down the spectrum on lack of love, and those are the people who need it even more.
Right. So and that goes hand in hand with vibrations. There's high and low. There's not only this, or it's just, and you go back and forth, and it's crazy. These are good talks. I love these talks. Darcy says this is so good. Oh, talk about the Lord of Flies, Beelzebub, fly god that can sting. Wow, we've done so much research. There's so much. I've taken really good notes this time. She says, I believe Jesus.
Toe dip in the research. There's so much more.
There's you could study this every second of your life till you die, and you would still only know a fraction of it.
So hopefully we're like sparking something in you to maybe do your own research before the next episode about this stuff, so that you can start learning yourself.
Whatever.
And then maybe you can educate us on the next episode about it and chime in.
Definitely, because we don't know everything. That's why we're like open conversation. Let's talk about it, because
we learn stuff from people.
There are things like you may say something, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't think about that, and then like internally, I'll like connect it with something else. I'm like, oh god, that makes total sense. It'll shift
something. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Darcy says, I believe Jesus loves all without conditions. Yes. So many.
I agree.
So many put conditions on his love. I don't believe there are any.
I agree with that.
Exactly. I'm like, because Jesus was super woke, okay? He like knew what it was about.
He was still with Buddha. They were trying to create a movement, and things went wrong because people put him on a pedestal.
Yeah, he hung out with like prostitutes and
murderers.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was like down in the dirty with the people.
Because he knew that they needed the most love, and that's what we were just talking about.
Exactly, and he was showing love. And then Darcy said, "Spirit love." Oh, the spirit. What was that? The YouTube?
Spirit science.
Spirit science. Yes. Yeah, spirit science. Kenya wanted to look it up. I'll tag Kenya too. I don't know if are you still watching, Kenya? If you are, okay. So yeah, spirit science on YouTube. We'll put all these links in here because it's awesome.
It's an animated series, but it's really good.
It's like my kids like it because it's little cartoon people, and it's very colorful and bright, and it makes sense, and the funny little voice. And
it is really good if you have kids, like, to introduce them to these things, and you can watch it together. Like, it'd be really cool.
Yeah, because you can have these conversations with your kids too. They're so
kids don't have conditions.
They're so amazing. They don't have conditions, and they don't have these stupid limitations that we have as adults, where you grow up and like you believe this. So if you can keep that dialogue open as children, like, I'm just so excited for when, like, my kids are 34, which is my age now. I'm like, how much farther along they're going to be with this? Because I'm just now, like, at 30, had my awakening. And we talk about all different kinds of things. And they're, 8, 6, and 3. And I'm like, that's beautiful. It's just to get their brains thinking, like, get them to expand, like, no limits. Just talk about whatever. Or, well, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Because they have some really interesting insights sometimes. I'm like, my gosh, that's really smart. Let's see. Lorraine says, oh, but I saw a giant on my vacation. Oh, she was a magnificent 7.5 foot tall woman.
Wow.
Walking through Amtrak in Washington, D.C. while I was in between trains. Now, there are really tall people that are, and not just like really tall, but like abnormally tall. And so that always makes me wonder, I'm like, is that some giant DNA from the past?
Or is it a pituitary tumor?
I mean,
because Tony Robbins, I don't know if you guys know who Tony Robbins is. He's a huge dude. Like, he sounds like a giant. He looks like a giant. But it ended up being because he had a tumor on his pituitary gland, and it was causing him just to continuously grow. That's what triggers our growth in our body.
Interesting. But could that be some sort of mutation?
Who knows?
Back from the past then? Like maybe the pituitary gland was
just
supposed to be like that in giants? Like maybe it's some sort of DNA epigenetic thing.
Yeah, because when it keeps growing, it's their whole body. It's in proportion. They just get really big.
Yeah. That's interesting. Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. That's interesting. See, Darcy says, I want to see him. Lorraine says she's Rh negative.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, you have that.
You're an alien.
Alien DNA. Darcy says, I am Rh negative blood, but I think there's an O type that is more rare. Because you have your blood type.
Yeah.
And the Rh negative is like it's like an extra part.
Yeah, because my mom is the O whatever that's really rare, and then she has the Rh whatever.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
whatever this universal, I'm not surprised. Whatever the universal donor is, that's what she is.
Yeah, I know. I'm
B
not
positive, like my attitude.
Oh, I'm B positive too.
That's why we get along so well, Morgan.
It is. It's just because our blood type. But yeah, I don't have the Rh factor because I think you get that test like when you're pregnant to see. Because I think if you have that, it'll attack the fetus.
Yeah, my mom had to do that with both of us. They have to do something different, like some shot or something to keep it.
Yeah, to keep your body from
rejecting the baby.
So I didn't have that. So my body sadly isn't an alien, but that's okay.
Doesn't mean your soul isn't. It's fine.
No, that's true. Kenya says, okay, I think we're coming back around to the guardian angel thing. Mine are in Dean's mostly. Was that a typo?
Dreams. I saw
Dreams.
her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She talked
Mine
about...
are in Dreams mostly. The Guardian Angels. Okay.
Yeah.
Now see, so dreams are interesting too, because
astral.
That's not just
dreams.
a dream. Like that's your subconscious or your energy or your spirit or maybe different things, like going somewhere else.
Yes.
So
different realm, even
another dimension or a realm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
and
really
then she
cool.
talked about it being mostly people who have passed that she knows, and it is more likely that when a relative or someone close to you passes, that is how they communicate with you, is in your dreams, because you're more receptive, you're more open than and obviously you're not going to be as scared as if they interacted with you in your day-to-day life when you freaked out, or maybe you wouldn't notice,
you're sitting,
because
you're eating your breakfast burrito and you're like, oh my god,
oh hi Bob,
it's like my grandpa. Oh Jesus, scared me.
That's what I named my guy. I named him Bob. I don't even know if he's a guy, but I was like, Bob.
Yeah.
I was going to name him Pat, so it could be like either or.
Oh yeah, like Pat. Yeah.
Was that on Mad TV or?
I think it was at SNL.
Maybe. Yeah, it was one of those two, but Pat, you couldn't tell if it was a boy.
Yeah. So. I think it was SNL.
Because when you were talking about angels and ETs, being similar, I believe that about them. I don't believe they're either sex. I believe they're fluid or genderless, is my belief. Yeah.
And that's interesting too, because division, whether it's sex or gender or race or politics, like division just causes all kinds of problems. And so I often wonder about that, because everyone has the whole gay thing that people get like upset about. Like I don't think that it's not wrong. Like, you just are the way you are. And I think we're having an experience where, yes, we have male and female, but just because you have a variation of that, or like a woman likes women or a man likes men, it doesn't matter, because ultimately everything is one.
It's all energy anyway.
It's all energy
These are
anyway.
Just the meat suits we picked for this journey.
Meat
so
suits.
Who cares?
Oh God. Yes. So let's see. Kenya says, somehow my religious mother is homophobic but loves Ancient Aliens. Riddle me that. Ancient Alien. I love that show. Those are good shows. That's so interesting. People's programming is just interesting sometimes, because most of it, I think, you pick up through childhood, and of course you can be programmed as an adult.
But the foundation pieces, and that's what I've talked about a lot, they are from your childhood.
Yeah.
So that means your mom could have picked up something from her parents or whoever raised her that was deeply ingrained about her, about being gay or whatever that meant to be gay. At the same time, though, as a child, maybe she was very intrigued by aliens because it was something different, and that's why she's so into it. So it makes sense.
Could be. It intrigues me. Let's see. So Kenya says, she and I can talk about aliens, but not me liking girls. She would never let her church know. We watched that show, though. Oh, so she's got like secret life. Like, I don't watch Ancient Aliens.
It's like double life.
But then, like, why would that matter? But then I know why it would matter, because
judged, that's all it is.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, if you even dare to think about maybe aliens could be real, like that means you can't believe in Jesus or God. It's like the people you could put in these boxes. It's not either or, And you're like, why can't I believe this and this and this and whatever combination of, like, it's
the things that I choose.
It's so interesting. And then it's like, we care so much about like everybody liking us, like everybody, and
because as humans we want to be accepted. That's the number one thing, to be accepted.
But you would think you'd focus on finding your tribe, finding your group, because you will never ever have everybody that likes you. That's impossible. You're always going to be the bad guy in somebody's story, no matter how good you are. And so it's just so interesting to me how people put so much energy towards trying to wear this mask to please everybody.
Because people don't know what they don't know, though.
That's true.
They don't even think there's, we know that there's another option. Some of those people, that thought that there's another option doesn't even cross their mind, because that's all they know.
I can't even.
Unless something happens to trigger the new thought.
That's true.
A new possibility opens up.
Yeah. Oh, that's just, the mind is so interesting.
I love it.
Just the way that the mind works. let's see. Lorraine says, I do have an extra nerve in my brain. Doctors cannot identify. Ooh, an extra nerve?
Maybe it's an implant.
How'd they find that?
I bet.
Well, yeah, because aliens will. And Lorraine, if you're still, I know you said you had an abduction experience. So if you're still on and want to share, please do, because you hear those stories too, where extraterrestrials will abduct people and they will do certain things. Fun theory that pisses a lot of people off is that that Mary, Jesus's mom, was taken up by extraterrestrials.
I already know.
And Jesus is part extraterrestrial because
he's a demigod.
He's an alien. He's like a demigod. Because Mary was a virgin.
And they're like, how did this happen?
Right. And I'm like, it's a possibility. It's not like it only happens in our modern day and age. It's been happening thousands, tens of thousands, millions of years. Like, it's hard to say. But yeah, that'll piss a lot of people off. Like, oh, Jesus. Mary got taken up to a spaceship and artificially
which is so interesting. But
with alien DNA.
Let's just talk about that narrative real quick.
Okay, sure.
It's harder for people to accept that there are other beings in this vast universe that we live in that took someone up, artificially inseminated them and brought them back down, versus it's magic and there's just a baby. That's easier for them to accept, and that's very interesting to me.
That is interesting. Like poof. Like okay, well,
like an easy bake oven, like baby, and it's there.
Easy. I wish it was that easy. Like there we go. But that's what we talk about on this Vlogcast, because when you really start thinking logically about the possibilities and what other people have experienced, you're like, well, maybe. Doesn't mean it's 100% true. Yeah. But maybe. Let's talk about it, Let's see. Darcy was just saying her grandma's owe something negative.
I think she was talking about
she's negative, but her daughter's positive. Yeah. Kenya has past life dreams. You got a lot of interesting dreams.
I was going to tell you this. Okay, so you just talked about, she just joined the Journey to Illumination group too.
Oh, good. Okay,
so
good.
Really good. Morgan's a part of that group too. Several people in this are. Yeah. So if you're already experiencing those things, Kenya, I would definitely say keep a journal. Write these things down as soon as you wake up. I'm talking about if they're, your relatives or whatever visiting you, or past life dreams, write them down, what you can remember as soon as you get up. Don't do anything else besides get the paper, write it down, because it'll go quickly. Because a lot of those times there's messages from your higher self in those dreams. Or if it's a past life dream, it could be messages to help you, maybe something you didn't heal in the past life that now you have the tools to do it in this life.
Yeah. Like you need to learn this lesson now.
So you don't redo it again.
Don't make the same mistake.
I would definitely just say journal your dreams. And if you're already starting your awakening journey and it's already that strong, I wouldn't be surprised if you do have other gifts. So just keep practicing with those things, keep working on it, and the more you do, the stronger it'll get.
Yeah, because that's a gift. I think.
Not everybody has.
Because people have certain strengths on different things, and
like
I
mine's
often
feeling and knowing.
I feel too. I feel gypped sometimes with the feeling. I'm like,
I wish I had vision sometimes.
It's like I feel very blind. I'm like feeling all of this shit that I don't understand. Yeah. And like people are having dreams and they can talk to people from other dimensions, and I'm
remember,
like, I just feel
we were picked to have these abilities.
I know. And that doesn't mean that there's not something we can awaken if we maybe use our feeling to guide us towards, like, like feel your way in the dark.
Yes.
Find what it is and then latch onto it. Because when you feel it, you feel it. That's the good thing about being an empath.
I'm a great human lie detector.
Feel it. Yeah. You're like, that's some BS right there, but okay. You can lie to me. Crazies. Let's see. Okay, Lorraine says she had 2 MRIs for the extra nerve in your brain, which is fascinating.
That is very interesting.
From age 7 to 33, I wonder if that was
maybe it's like her antenna. Like to pick up signals.
Could be.
Who knows?
Like an extra connection in your brain for something. Oh, that's a good theory. I like that.
That's awesome.
Age 7 to 33. Was that the alien abductions? I'm assuming.
That's crazy. That's a long time.
Yeah. I hope they were good, positive experiences, because I know some are kind of weird. from what people have reported, and others they're fine.
Yeah. Well,
and I wonder if they were the Greys. Were they the Greys?
See, yeah, that's the whole, when we talk about the different types, right? There's different ones. The Greys tend to be more experimental types.
Yeah.
Well, more malicious, kind of.
They can be. They're more like not robots, but
no emotions.
Just like, I'm just an alien.
Yeah, I'm just
robot.
experimenting.
Yeah.
So, like,
my job.
My dad and my brother supposedly have both seen UFOs. And I thought I've seen one before, but then it was one of those things I don't know if my mind was playing tricks on me or whatever, so I'm not 100% sure. So I won't ever say that I 100% sure have seen one yet.
Yeah.
But I also think it's interesting that my dad did and my brother did, because usually they will stick with families, which is interesting, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I saw one. It wasn't up close, and like anyone else would probably like, oh, that's weird. But it wasn't a plane. It looked like it was kind of a star, but it was like moving, and then it just like disappeared out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and I was like,
how mine
oh
was.
my God, I just saw my first UFO. And Jeremy saw it too, and I was so excited. But I haven't seen one since.
Yeah, that's how mine was. Because it's not like a plane where you'd see the lights and you'd see it going off. Like, yes, there was something there, and then there was nothing there.
Right. It wasn't a satellite. It wasn't any of that stuff. I like went through all the logical things. I'm like, it must be UFO. Yeah. Let's see. Kenya says this year's the first time I've fully decided to live my truth, aka finding my true tribe. Yes, that's awesome. A lot of people are doing that. I think
this year is a huge year
F these labels. Like, I don't care. I'm going to say I believe in this. And then other people come out of the woodwork too, like, oh my gosh, you think that too. And then you have this bond with someone because you've both decided to reveal some secrets of yourself or some beliefs that you kept hidden for a long time. Yeah.
So 2019 is a huge year that's happening right now, and I believe it's clearing way for what's coming for 2020. But 2019 has been like a quantum shifting year. So much has happened.
2019's been...
I mean, it's bringing shit to the surface that you are supposed to deal with and that you cannot put off anymore. You have to heal it, release it, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's felt very not constricting. So we've gone through a lot of spiritual growth, but also like this is the year we get out of like credit card debt. Like, so I'm like, so it's been like even financially, it's been kind of tight, and that's never fun. But it's necessary. So I'm like, 2020 is going to be so much different than 2019, which has been just working through things in the past to get through it and move on to the next cycle.
I like to believe so. Like 2019 is like lifting the veil off of your eyes so that you can see 2020 in 2020.
Yeah. Ooh,
it's got rid of all the shit.
Visual.
All your blockages, all your baggage, just getting rid of it all.
Get the shit out of my eye. Ugh.
Exactly. And all eyes. I mean, third eye too. Like cleanse that out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be drinking that fluoride water. That calcifies your third eye.
Oh God, I know. I'm just.
That's if you don't know what I'm
one of the things on my list is to get
tangent.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, one of the things on our list is to get this really cool water thing that takes out all the shit out of the water, and like it's better for your body. Anyways,
drinking shit water. That's kind of gross.
I'm not drinking shit water. It's filtered as best we can, but it's not the most filtered. Sorry, we digress. And then Lorraine says, Immaculate Conception, the seed of God, kind of what we talked about. Darcy says, this is why I get you both. I feel too.
Nice.
Well, let's see. Lorraine says, look, Bella didn't know her gift until the 4th movie. I think about that sometimes. Twilight.
Oh,
right?
It's like Bella. Who's
Bella.
Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah, and she would shield herself.
Oh. Okay, so it's been forever since I've seen it.
And sometimes I actually, it's funny you say that because I think about that because I often will project a energetic bubble or shield around myself and my kids, just in different colors for different things. But mostly it's white. It's always white. The base color is always like a bright, God, pure light to protect us. So I believe that I can shield myself from certain things and that I can shield my children because they are from me, they're genetically from me, or
you're the protector.
You could do that with adopted kids. I'm the protector. Like we're connected by the heart. And then, okay, Lorraine says yes, abduction. She says nope, they were frightening. Yes, the Greys. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
I want to like know everything about this stuff.
I know.
I have so many questions.
Oh, let's see. Let's see.
Well, what if we did like a guest live and had her on here, and one of us could chill.
That'd be good. Well, if she'd want to do that, or even if it could even just be in, because you can go lives in groups. So like if you wanted to share that, we could go live just in the group and not publicly if you don't want to go publicly like this is now. Or even type it up in the group, or if you just want to keep it at that, that's fine. You don't have to share any more than you want to.
We just have so many questions.
Yeah. Oh, and then she also says Arcturians. I've never heard of them. I know about the Anunkai,
Anaki.
And then the Greys. Anaki. It's not even close.
What was the one you said before that? Anaki.
Arcturians.
Arcturian and Anaki. Which were the ones? I'm trying to think which ones were in. Was it New Mexico? Oh, I can't remember, so I'm not going to quote it.
I thought that was the Anaki.
I thought so too, but I'm not going to go into it because I don't have the facts and it's
okay. We're like, we don't know. Yeah. And then she sent a link. Oh, different types of alien species on. Ooh, that's good. I wonder if reptilians is on there. Reptilians are creepy. They're a little bit weird. But then, I often wonder, because you hear like reptilians are like bad. But I'm like, what if these different species, they're just like humans, where you have people that are higher and lower? Or are there specific alien things that are just inherently on the lower vibration? Like, surely there has to be a range with every life force.
Yeah, I believe that there's like consciousness for each race, and like some of them are just lower consciousness.
Yeah, like even with the Greys, you'd think like if most of them are kind of like zombie-like we have with a lot of humans, surely there's some that are like
I don't want
to be like this. So I don't know. It's an interesting thought. I think about that sometimes. And then she says all three of these types have been involved in my abductions.
Wow.
Man, dang, that sounds like
I'm not even seeing all her comments. Oh, there they are now.
Even scrolling back, I think they're kind of far back.
She said,
Darcy
F the labels.
Yeah, F the labels. Kenya says that's how mine was.
I think she was talking about high school sighting.
I've never told anyone. Sighting or abduction?
I don't know.
That's how mine
if you're still watching, can you let us know? Were we talking?
Yeah,
we were talking
I know
about
we kind of get
things right there.
Comments.
Were you talking about a sighting of UFO or an abduction when you were talking about that?
Kenya, yeah. And then Darcy says, tell us what is happening next year. Yeah.
We don't know. There's going to be some crazy stuff here. So do what you got to do to cleanse stuff out this year is what I'm telling you. It's super important. Yeah. I can't stress that enough. Deal with whatever's coming out.
From different things that we're going to be dripping disclosure, or not we do that here anyway.
We already do.
But like the government, the people in charge, like we're slowly going to be learning different things. So just kind of preparing, just like might learn something new. Yeah. Just keep an open mind. Let's see. Lorraine says, used to be known as the Roaring 20s, and I refer to it now as the Healing 20s. I have to go back and look.
Check that out.
Oh, and Lorraine says, I'll do a live. We could Zoom. Oh, a Zoom would be good. Because then it's just in Zoom. Oh, that's a good idea. Because I'd love to. It would be hard to type out that story. So you being able to speak with your words would be a lot easier for you and us to hear that story. Because I believe that happens. I know a lot of people will be like, no, you're crazy. That was all in your head.
I believe
but there's just been too many stories. There's just too many stories.
And there's too many things that are similarities, like for people all over the world. It's just like, how do these people know these?
There's too much proof.
Yeah.
Eyewitness accounts, personal experiences, documentation, even studies on different things. And these things, sometimes you have to dig to find it. A lot of people, if it's just beyond their current comprehension. Or it's too hard, or it will just shatter their world too much, they just shut it down, and then just like, nope, not real. They can put 0% energy to that, and they choose to do that, which is kind of scary in my opinion, because how can we grow and learn if we're not at least willing to open our minds and hearts just a little bit, just to say,
that's because,
so just for 5 minutes, say like, okay, for 5 minutes, I will entertain this.
You have to remember too,
belief
though,
or thought.
Human survival, the brain, how it works. If it causes fear or uncertainty, some people just want to stay safe because I think their mind, anyways, thinks that's what they have to do to survive.
True.
So that's why we plant seeds, and when they're ready, it'll come to fruition.
Yeah.
We can't just necessarily shake people as we want to.
Yeah, because surely we didn't start like that. That has to have been built into our
I don't know.
Our DNA over
I quoted
millions of years.
Nikola Tesla, and that was in 1899. We go back further than that. We go to the Bible. We were talking about it, like they were talking about things like that. So I think this has been going on a very long time.
It's like fear farming, factory fear farming of people to. I've heard that there are like Earth is a fear farm, because if you think about it, so these lower vibrational entities that have control over Earth, which a lot of people don't want to believe in, but you're talking, like Illuminati, people that still participate in child sacrifice, because that still happens a lot with the elites, which is awful, and it breaks my heart to even think about it.
We're not even talking about the inner Earth either world.
We haven't even got to inner Earth. This is just like outer Earth, y'all. Okay? Yeah, that's a different thing.
That's a whole nother one.
That's a whole nother one. Oh shit, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
What was I saying? Oh, no, it's okay. It's funny. As I was saying, just all these things happening. Oh yeah, fear farm.
They thrive off.
They thrive off the lower vibrational energies.
That's why you gotta quit watching the news.
So turn off the goddamn news. I'm not even joking.
Get it from alternative sources, and here's why: because all of that is owned by certain people, and
it's a narrative.
They don't get ratings off of good stories. Let's be honest.
And it creates fear, and they use race and politics and religion and sex and like all of this stuff to create division, which creates fear and anger and all these low vibrational energies. If you think about it, Earth is a fear farm. And so those of us that are starting to question things and publicly speak our truth, just like, whatever, you don't like me, I don't care.
Yeah, that's okay.
We are raising the vibration collectively, and we are stronger together. It's like a grid, we're like locking energetic hands over the globe.
It's like Planet of the Apes when he gets the sticks, and he's like, one ape, weak, and he breaks it, and then he gets a bundle of sticks. He says, many apes, strong, and it won't break. Same thing.
That's what this is. So collectively, we're raising the vibration. And yes, there are things that are scary. We go through low vibrational times, but we have to purge it. We have to clear it out because we get stronger. But there's so much generational, emotional wounds and trauma that's in our DNA, in our bodies, from our ancestors, that it's like all coming onto us, and like we're like, oh shit, and you're just like purging it all. And it's really hard and really painful sometimes, but it must be done or it will continue.
Yes.
If I don't clear that stuff for me, I'm going to pass it on to my kids.
And then their kids.
And I don't want that. It stops with me.
Yeah.
Stops with me. God damn it. It stops with me. I will not continue that. And people are doing that. They're starting that. And it's necessary, but it's going to get difficult. Just like anything, when you're cleaning up any mess or you're building something new, it's going to get ugly and messy before you get to the pretty cleaner, new version of whatever it is. That's just how it goes. And I think we're kind of going through that icky,
we're going through the purging
dirty, yucky purging part. So it's
here's
normal.
The thing. When we talk about vibrations too, and you're talking about raising the consciousness of Earth, right? And we're raising the vibration of Earth. There will become a time when those lower things cannot exist in the vibration that we've created. So we're just in the growth spurt process.
It's prophesized.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff is coming up, and it's not great
Satya
stuff,
Yuga, the golden age, prophesized by all the religions. It is coming. It's prophesized. And Mallory says, we're manifesting gangsters. Yeah.
She's in the mountains in Aspen. That's awesome, Mallory.
Beautiful.
I love Aspen. It is beautiful there.
Yeah. Oh my God, I want to go. I don't know if I've ever been to Aspen.
You should go because it's awesome.
I do need to
you guys
go.
Are having
you know,
time.
Travel's on my list. I'm be driving that.
That's true.
I'll bus around. Like, we'll be traveling all over the place, leaving energetic love all around.
Mallory said, it will be a long time, not many are woke. I disagree with that statement. There are more people awake now more than ever before in history. And I think
but what's a long time? You know, is that maybe 10 years? Because to us, I'm like, 10 years is a long time. Or is this generational? So it's, I'm in the middle on that. I'm like, I think depending on what we do now as individuals, we can speed it up, but we have to confront these things. We have to go through that purging. So if we choose to continue to not purge, it will take a long time. So I feel it. I visualize it. Guys. Yes. I feel like we're at the fork in the road. Yeah. And that's really the only way I can describe it, because with all these things going on, everything I've been going through, I'm like, it's just one of those things. Like, I feel, I'm like, we are at a very important time, our generation, where we have to take action, or it's going to be a harder road to get to where we need to be versus an easier road. So we have to really tune in with ourselves to go on the easy path, not the easy path, but the quicker path to this new golden age. It's possible, but we're running into a lot of obstacles, but they're just challenges, opportunities for growth. Yes, I know. I was like, let me say it before you correct me.
What's up, Misty? You guys are woke. I hope you're having a good time. Good vibes over there. So the thing is, all these opportunities, though, that are coming up, that's part of the purging. They have to come up. There has to be contrast. Like, these negative things that are coming up have to come to light to be able to heal, to release them, to move through them. And, you know, if you just want to go on, people, you know, gripe all the time about Trump or whatever, I'm like, you know what? I'm glad that he became president. And here's why. Because it's woken, it has awoken a lot of people. Or, like, all the racism stuff.
It's been a catalyst. Right now, we could call it that.
There's so many people standing up for that now. Or the Me Too movement, like all these things. You have to think about all these major things that have happened just within the last 2 to 3 years. Yeah, I mean, that would have taken forever to happen, right? And they're happening now, and there's a reason for that. A lot of purging to go on, a lot of healing to go on, so that we can move on and be in the highest vibration of ourselves, speaking our truth, living in love in 2020.
Yeah, because that's really the only thing you can control is
yourself.
Your growth.
Your inner world.
Yourself, yes.
And when you change your inner world, it changes your outer world.
Yeah. And it's not going to be perfect and pretty like we talked about. Like it's going to be ugly and gross and sad, and you're going to have like shitty days, and you're going to argue with the people you love the most, and you're just like, but just like get it out, just get it done, just move on. Like, don't live in that forever. It stops with you, and we need it.
That's the trick about healing these things too, is exactly what Morgan just said. It's not about it's not about sitting in it forever. Feel what there is to feel with these things, because once you give awareness to them, feel what there is to feel, and then release it. Because, you know, before, when you don't feel these things, you stuff them down. It's like they grow into this cluster of things.
And then there's so much pressure
until you explode.
Or you get cancer or like some horrible thing, because it manifests in your body.
I talk about it all the time. Mind-body connection, people. It's huge, and I will continue to talk about that for the rest of my life, because that's how important it is.
So don't do this. Just let it out.
Because when you express it, when you feel what there is to feel, whatever emotion that is, whether it's anger, it doesn't matter. Don't judge your emotions for what they are. If they're good, they're bad. They're not. They just are what they are. And when you feel those things, you then give awareness and attention to them, and then you release them. And that's what takes your power back from these things, instead of letting them have power over you, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Which is why you need to question religious stuff, because religion keeps people stuffing it down, because they're like, oh, you're a sinner, and you shouldn't think that, or you shouldn't feel that. And so you're like, I can't do that because I'll go to hell, because Jesus won't love me. And I'm like, that's not what it was about. So like, I'm not saying don't go to church. I'm not saying don't be religious.
We're not.
Just be aware of that. Be aware of that. You don't. if your version of religion or church is like that, that's not what Jesus wanted. That's not what he meant to happen.
I have something, I mean, you can put a link in here or his name or whatever, but a person you guys might want to check out if you are religious and all those things, or even if you're not, he's just really cool. I follow a lot of stuff. I've seen him live once. His teachings are really awesome. Rob Bell. So if anybody has not heard of him, he's got some really great books, but basically he was, I don't remember if he was a pastor or something like that. And he was talking about the mix of the two. He was talking about religion and talking about the things we're talking about. And basically they kicked him out because he couldn't talk about both of those things. So he's known as like the blasphemous Christian, but really the things he talks about are the merging of the two worlds.
Interesting.
Oh no, you're cutting out again.
Bell. I know, I saw a flash and then I came back. I'm like, what is this?
Mallory said, we're talking about religion this evening and how it dictates and puts you in a box. Yes.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
You should go, Mallory, you should go back when this is over and watch the beginning of this live, because Morgan had some really good stuff. She was like literally pulling from the Bible, talking about
all the verses,
all sorts of stuff. Like, it's crazy.
I should just like open one up and see what I found.
My dog's
because I took like all these notes. Let's see. Now that was about the burning guys. I don't know. I'm not.
The burning guys.
I'm not.
Wait, who was the guy in the Bible that talked to the bush? The burning bush.
Moses.
It was Moses, right? There's even like a thing going on about that I've heard about that.
Is it?
He was taking LSD or something, or shrooms or something, and then was hallucinating.
Psychedelics.
Yes.
Yeah. Like and I've heard a lot of that because the interesting point, because a lot of people that have these religious experiences, interactions with holy beings have possibly been high on psychedelics, because it's all been the same. Like there's like a bright light and they hear voices and they feel love, I guess. So it's very, very interesting.
It's like the ayahuasca ceremonies they do in the Amazon rainforest. There's people that go there.
I'm kind of fascinated with all of that ayahuasca.
It's a whole thing though.
Let's see. There's just so much. And like we were talking about, like religion wants to put you in a box, which is why I've never really read the Bible. But when I realized, they talk about aliens in the Bible, I'm like, let me go figure that out. And there's like so much stuff here. Like let's see. So here's one. What is this? Revelations. I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beasts and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000s and thousands of thousands. Like, infinite. I mean, there's just, I'm like, that's like so many. And let's, you can't just have like that many people. Like, that has to be divine. There's like so much here. I'm so unorganized here. Oh, and the one like talking about, he rode in on a swift cloud. Like, what's a swift cloud? Is that a spaceship? Sounds like a old-timey term for spaceship, because they didn't know how to describe it.
And she was talking about how aliens and angels are one and the same.
Yeah. The term of God, the word God, let me go back to you here. So the word God, original Hebrew word is Elohim, which is a plural word, not singular, translates as mighty ones, appears 2,750 times in the Old Testament, and the Hebrew writers used the word for both good and bad entities. So there wasn't a different word based on if they were good or bad. And then heaven, exist. The word heaven shows up 700 times in the Bible. Old Testament Hebrew was shamayim. New Testament Greek, oranus, those were words for heaven. But shamayim and oranus translate as sky, outer space, cosmos, or universe in every other book during that same time period. So
there you go.
Fascinating.
If you missed the beginning, Mallory, go back and watch it.
Yeah, that's the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, it's really good, especially if you guys were already talking about it today.
Oh yeah, let's see. There's like.
And we're gonna have mini episodes, like we said, on parts.
Yeah, we'll do a lot more on this
because there's so much to cover as far as extraterrestrial. We literally just scratched the surface.
I spent 4 hours today, like looking in the Bible and all. Oh, this one. Oh shit, this was good. Okay.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. It may seem insignificant to some, but so in Genesis, like the first page of Genesis, which is about the creation of Earth.
Okay.
Okay. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." Us.
More than
meaning
one.
Plural.
But you said mighty ones.
What the heck? So if we translate God as mighty ones, that would read, "And the mighty one said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness."
Which makes more sense when you read it that way.
Right. And I thought, because this is a fairly new Bible, I think printed in the 80s, so it's not like super old. So
fairly new. That thing's still older than I am.
I know, but in terms of like versions of the Bible. But I was like, surely they would have changed that. But that like kind of blew my mind, because it said us in our image, after our like. That's a plural thing. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness," not my or I.
So there's one of your catches of the mistranslation. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, holy, that of all the things, that blew my mind the most. I was like, oh shit.
I can just imagine you saying these things out loud while you're reading your Bible.
I know. Well, I'm like, okay, well, surely they've changed it, because some of the things, the quotes they said online, varied slightly from what's in this book. So I'm like, oh, surely they've fixed that, but no. And I was like, oh my God, us. Said us.
That's awesome.
It fascinated the crap out of me.
Yep.
It was us, not I. Us? Multiple? Many? I don't know. That's just what the Bible said, so it must be true, right? Part of it.
That's great.
That discovery made me very happy.
That was pretty awesome.
Let's see. Okay. I don't see any more comments, so God, it's 10:24. Oh my God, that's my number I always see. 10:24.
Have you looked up what that means?
I have, and because those are called angel numbers. My God, there's like so many different things.
And then it would be,
and it's like right on.
It would be a 7 too, whatever the 7 means for you.
Yeah, and so I see 1024 a lot, but I also see 24, just 24 a lot. So it could be like 724, 924. I'm always looking at a clock when it's 24, but it started with 1024, and so yeah, angel numbers. There's different websites here. I did change my browser from Google because they shady AF.
Yeah.
So I'm using
They're hiding things now, so whatever.
So yeah.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, go research that. That's a whole nother thing, right?
Oh God, that's a whole nother.
If you go search for it, do not search on Google. Go use like Bing or some other type of search engine, or you're not gonna find it.
We use the term Google. When I say Google it, I mean search engine it. Use Ecosia. I think that's how you say it. Brave. DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Yeah, those are the ones you want to do, because Google is censoring the crap out of anything that does not fit their narrative.
Yeah. Like right now, the big thing that's going on right now is they're censoring a lot of holistic practices and things like that people are using. Natural
medicines.
So
a lot of cannabis stuff. Yeah. And recently, Krista shared with me, they're going after conspiracy theorists, maybe, or they like want to, and I'm like, no way, you can get all of us, like we all over the place, like you're just trying to do fear.
So what's the difference between, so if you want to go with free speech, right, what's the difference between that and conspiracy theorists? Because it is just your thought, right?
I don't know. People might like publicly know the truth about 9/11. I don't know. Oh shit, I said that. They're like, they heard me now. God dang it.
Okay. And when we mean people, we mean first responders. There's a whole nother thing on that you can go look up too. If you're
There's so much, you guys. I'm
like from people who were there the day it happened, who were in the building, who were rescuing
people. There were explosives in the building.
It was a controlled demolition. Let's just say that. Okay, next. Let's go. Well, that's a whole other deep dive. We don't have time for that. We're already 2 hours.
We don't have time for that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 10:24, because I looked at the clock and that was my thing. Yeah. It's just funny. That's just my little sign from the universe Where I'm like, I just feel things all the time. I want to see something. So they're like, okay, here, you can look at these numbers.
Well, so
make sure that we're
when
good.
my awakening started happening after my cousin passed away, I saw 1111 like all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
So. And you said, cool. I'm so grateful to be in this group. Damn it. Y'all are my new tribe. I'm adopting myself to you. You're adopted. You're welcome.
Come on. You're adopted. We love you.
Bring anybody else you know. Just come hang out with us.
We'll adopt you. We'll adopt all of you. We'll all adopt each other.
Yeah. We got people on this from all over the world, all over the country. So you're part of the tribe now, the Awaken tribe.
I know. Welcome. And you're new, right? I mean, did you, because
this is her first
one. Because I was like, I don't recognize your name from any other ones. So that's awesome. I'm glad you found us.
Yep.
You're like, who are these weird girls? What are you talking about? Extraterrestrials.
She knows me, but
like, oh my god.
But she's okay,
that's good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
So I'm glad she was able to catch this one.
Yeah.
And we share these two. I think you joined the Awaken Vlogcast community already. All the episodes after we do it, I share it to that group, so you can go back and watch. Since we're on episode 16, I mean, you can go back and watch from the beginning.
That was my desk.
And then there's some of these that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours. We try to keep it less than that, but sometimes they're just good stuff. And
sometimes it just goes on, and
we don't judge it or time it. We just go for what feels good. So.
Yep, that's right. This has been a good episode, and we haven't had that much interference.
Yes, only a little bit at the beginning. So
a little bit at the beginning, but I was like, no.
So thanks for your energy, people who are on here, because you helped it.
A dome of protection over the internet. I don't know.
And so that's all I have as far as my notes. Do you have anything else that we didn't cover on yours? Or we can save it for the next part 2 of this?
I think I pretty much covered most of it, but like we could pick one topic and just
go with it, dive in.
Excuse me, I keep burping. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. I'm like,
or it's a natural function. Water. No one's judging you. So anyway.
The human body requires so much upkeep. That's fine.
I think it's cool.
It is cool and also gross.
So for those of you who are new to the Awaken Vlogcast, so this is how we do it every time. You're interacting. We keep this open dialogue, and then we do different topics every week. And we have running topics. So that means I pick one week, and the next week Morgan will pick. We'll keep switching off. And we're always accepting new topics. So if there's something that you want us to cover in a upcoming, not oncoming, episode, just comment on here or PM one of us, let us know, and we'll add it to our list, and we just go through and sometimes just randomly pick it, see what feels good to us that day, and usually we'll do
it's
it
usually that day of. This one's been planned though. I think this is the only one that's been like planned.
We've been putting it off because some of these people watching this have been wanting to make sure they were around to see this, so we've been like purposely.
And we wanted to get out of retrograde, Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
But now we're going into what's the
Lionsgate portal is tomorrow.
Lionsgate portal. Yeah.
So that's important for that. I've posted some stuff in my free group, the Journey to Illumination group. There's a video in there.
I was reading that. Yeah.
So you can get some information on it there, more so than what I will tell you about it right now. The shorthand version is there's a lot of energy coming in right now. And tomorrow.
And we are energetic beings.
Yes.
Like we're very little % physical.
Yes.
But that's 100% what we focus on for most people. But energy affects us like crazy.
Yeah. So tomorrow being the 8/8 is the Lionsgate portal opening and all those. It's going to be really strong tomorrow. So just make sure you're doing things to
put your big girl panties on, people.
Yeah, or commando if you go commando. Just bring your crystals, whatever you got to do.
Just be naked with your crystals.
Just you can meditate, you can earth, ground yourself. We've talked about that before.
Take
if you don't
a nap.
know what that is, go walk barefoot in the grass for like 15-20 minutes. That's what grounding or earthing is. Take an Epsom salt bath, soak for like 15-20 minutes.
Those are good.
Grounding crystals, black tourmaline. My mind's going blank right now. Help me out. Grounding
That's okay.
crystals.
You like named off like pretty much everything.
Black tourmaline's a good one, but any of the dark colored crystals or
drink a lot of water. I don't know. Keep your body hydrated.
Yeah, drink lots of water.
Maybe meditate.
Just whatever
find
you need
find a frequency you like. You know, just wear it in your ears. Just listen to that.
Those are all just a couple of things, and like I said, you can do more research other than that. I just want to give you some quick tips, because tomorrow might be a lot. You might feel it tomorrow, especially if you're already sensitive to energy like I am. So I'm going to be very purposeful tomorrow, and I'm already like super thirsty. I've already went through almost 2 bottles of water since we've been doing this, which is not normal for me. in this short amount of time.
I can improve my hydration habits a lot better. It's so late. I can't even speak correctly. I'm not very good about drinking water. I'm trying to improve that. I'm trying to be more intentional.
About that.
I'm trying to like stretch. I'm not a sports person. I'm not like super active. I chase my kids around.
Yoga,
but I've been trying to stretch like at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, just like even just my shoulders or just like a few simple yoga poses just to get my body moving. And the short time I've done that, I've noticed how much better I feel just with just that little bit of effort. Very easy effort too. I'm not like pumping iron and like running around the pond. I'm just stretching, and that helps my body because I tend to get really stressed out sometimes. So the more I do for my body, like getting appropriate sleep and water and nutrition and stretches or exercise, I feel better. And of course, natural things.
Yeah. And when you change your physiology, so that means changing what you're doing, it changes how you feel, your vibration. So like if you're in a bad mood, or maybe you're really anxious or really sad or whatever, get up, like just shake your body out, or put on your favorite song and dance to it. Just do something. Stand up. Don't just sit in it. Change your physiology. I mean, like physically change your body, what you're doing, and it'll shift that state. That's
even if you have to like yell at yourself, just be like, get up out of this chair.
Get your ass
like
up.
Get up and go outside for a minute.
Yeah. Take a breath.
Just tell yourself what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Just like get it done. Like, cause there's no point in your day where like the whole day just has to be shit.
Exactly.
Like I've been waking up late in the morning a lot because I've been staying up late watching Outlander. So, and usually when I get up later in the morning, it'll throw me off, and I'm like, oh, I woke up late, and I'll like guilt myself, and I feel bad, and then I just feel like crap the whole day. But I've been intentionally telling myself, I'm like, no, you wanted to enjoy this quiet time late at night, and that's okay. So you slept in the morning, and that's okay. You can still get up and like get ready and have fun with your kids. And I've had really good days because I stopped guilting myself about these things that I should or should not do, because there's things I like to do, and I love my quiet time, my me time, where nobody is like touching me, or I'm like just like nobody. It's just me.
For those of you who don't know, sometimes Morgan locks herself in the pantry. Is that what it was? The pantry?
To eat snacks, yeah.
It's her alone time. She really, really digs it, okay? She needs her alone time.
Done that before.
She has 3 little boys. And she homeschools them. She's a busy lady and an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm built myself.
You're cutting out again now.
Health. Like, okay, we're done. Anyway, it's gone over 2 hours.
God, you look like an alien. How appropriate. Oh God, that's funny.
Can you hear?
It's buffering. It'll get there in a second.
Dang it. I don't know. Maybe I can. Who knows?
So I'm just going to wrap up. I'm going to wrap up these last comments while you're buffering. So Kenya said, binging this weekend. Lorraine said, it was really good info about the Bible references, Morgan. Good detective work.
Sleuthing.
And then Lorraine also said, I am attuning a 2nd level Reiki tomorrow. Good timing. And Kenya said, Morgan, I needed to hear that. Oh, and here you're back now.
Good.
So good timing.
Okay, good. I'm glad you needed. Do you have kids too, or mom, or are you hard on yourself with just stuff, guilting yourself, just guilt trips, just constantly? Well, good. I'm happy that we can share in life truths.
We're not alone. Yeah, we're in this
together.
We're
not alone. So. Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got. Do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
Oh my gosh, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Thank you guys all for joining us tonight. We do this every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can always catch the replays. You can join the AWAKEN Vlogcast community group to go check out past episodes, or just conversate with other people who are on these lives that you want to interact with. Find your tribe. Or if you have any questions or topics for future episodes that you want to let us know, just drop us a message or comment on here and let us know. And that's it.
Yeah, and we'll go back and post some links in here and in the group on my different links that I have, so
She's got a lot
you can look at all this stuff. She's a
good referencer. She said both, Morgan. That's what Kenya said.
Okay, good.
You were meant to receive that message tonight, so there you go.
All right, happy to share.
Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you guys have a good night, and we will see you next Wednesday.
All right.
Bye, guys.